In the context of the battle in Ukraine, who has emerged as the industrial power giant, Russia or the Western countries supporting Ukraine? In various media, there is often a discussion on how Russia has managed to surpass the United States and NATO in weapons production. To understand this, we need to view the situation from two very different perspectives. The United States and its NATO allies see the battle in Ukraine as a conflict they wish to win. Meanwhile, Russia views the battle in Ukraine as a matter of life and death, something they must win. This difference in perspective is what sets apart the approaches of the parties involved. For the American weapons manufacturers who cooperate with the Pentagon and US military headquarters, this battle seems like just part of the regular routine. In their eyes, the main focus is not on victory, but on profit. Each contract and project they undertake is more focused on achieving significant revenue, without paying too much attention to urgency or effectiveness in dealing with the existing threats. As long as there are no fundamental changes in how America produces military equipment, there is no reason to believe that these companies will stop supplying items like F-35 aircraft, Ford-class aircraft carriers, or Sentinel missiles. These products often arrive late, and the prices paid are far higher than initially anticipated. However, this is not just about large and complex projects. Even in the production of seemingly simple items, such as standard unguided artillery shells, there are often the same delays, accompanied by costs that soar well beyond expectations. What about Russia's resolve? Let's dive deeper. According to a report from the Royal United Services Institute, from 2022 to 2024, Russia succeeded in surpassing NATO member countries in Europe in terms of weapons production. The report revealed that during this period, Russia focused 75% of its military companies on production and 25% on research and development. By involving around 1,400 companies in its military-industrial complex, Russia created jobs for approximately 4.5 million workers who played a key role in increasing the country's military capacity. These workers, both on the production line and in other sectors, work tirelessly to support Russia's war machine, ensuring that tanks keep running, artillery shells continue to be produced, and drones remain flying over Ukrainian skies. All of this is part of a carefully planned transformation and structural changes aimed at maintaining the country's military strength amidst the ongoing conflict. On the other hand, the defense industries of NATO's allied countries show significant weaknesses. Although funding to increase defense production is not an issue, they have failed to ramp up production volume within the required time frame. This highlights a lack of preparedness or difficulties in mobilizing larger production capacities. Let's take a closer look at tank production, such as the T-72, which continues to be the backbone of Russia's armored forces. The legendary T-72, introduced in the early 1970s, remains a mainstay to this day. Weighing 41 tons, this tank is equipped with a 125mm smoothbore gun, capable of launching various types of ammunition, ranging from high-explosive shells to anti-tank missiles. Its simplicity is key, making mass production and maintenance easier. On the other hand, Russia heavily relies on repairing these older models, taking advantage of an abundant stock of spare parts. This contrasts sharply with the slower and much more expensive production of the Abrams tank, which clearly presents a challenge for Western countries. Meanwhile, according to an article from Bulgarian Military, a striking difference between Russia's approach and that of Europe can be seen in defense investments. In Europe, funds are often channeled into ambitious projects, such as the Franco-German Future Combat Air System, a next-generation fighter jet that will not be deployed for several more years. In contrast, Russia prefers to focus on the mass production of proven equipment, such as the T-72 or 152mm artillery shells, which are the backbone of their artillery barrages. A recent report from Militarny also mentioned that Russia has increased production of the two S-43 Malva self-propelled howitzer. This was confirmed by the btvt.info Telegram channel, which published a photo showing the installation of these systems in February. At least 8 artillery units were recorded being transported on these platforms. So, what about Ukraine? On the battlefield, Ukraine is utilizing Soviet-era military equipment to rebuild its defense capacity. Additionally, Ukraine is working to develop drones and modernize older weapon systems that are still usable. However, Ukraine faces a disadvantage, starting from a weaker base and without the level of planning that Russia has had. What are the possible outcomes for the future? An analysis from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace describes the ongoing losses on the battlefield. According to the analysis, although Russia's stockpiles of Soviet-era weapons can still sustain them, there is a critical point that will be reached by 2026 when these weapon stocks will be depleted. When that time comes, Russia will face significant challenges, transitioning to the production of new, much more expensive weapons. And this is what Russia is currently preparing for. One of Russia's main strengths on the field is the T-90M tank, which is currently one of the most advanced combat vehicles in the Russian military's arsenal. Weighing around 48 tons, the T-90M is armed with a 125mm cannon that has been modified to enhance its accuracy, making it more efficient in dealing with threats. This tank is an evolution of the older T-72, and while it boasts impressive specifications, its production is limited, with only about 100 units being assembled each year. There will likely be other innovations planned for the future as well. So, is it possible that the West and Ukraine will replicate Russia's approach? That's all for today, and thanks for watching.